Mets, Marlins. All right, let's do this. Here come the Marlins.
Low ball one. Bill Cousy calling the balls and strikes. Mike Estabrook at first base. Crew chief Jerry Crawford's out at second base. Bill Hahn over at third base. Umpires tonight wearing the gray slacks and the light blue tops. Here's a ground ball to short. Anderson Hernandez has it. Throws low, but it's dug out by Tatis at first. Hanley retired, and the Marlins go in order. So that was a quick first inning. No score in our game. The Marlins and the Mets on the Florida Marlins Radio Network.
Marlins fans, are you looking for memorabilia for your collection or need a unique gift? Log on.
After Carlos Beltran, the Marlins and the Mets on a Saturday night in Miami. Strike one call to Carlos Beltran. West needed only 7 pitches to set down the side in the first inning. Got some help on a terrific defensive play, both by Hanley at short on the diving stop, and then by Ross Gloat on the pick on the throw in the dirt. Beltran takes the ball. It's 1-1. Left-hander kicks and fires, and a hot smash to third. Nice backhanded stop by Cantu. Spins, throws low to first. This time, Gloat can't control it. It gets past him, backed up by the catcher Baker, and Beltran's aboard at first base. Terrific play by Cantu. Spun all the way around, had time to make the throw, and couldn't get it there. It's going to be an E5. So the Marlins charged with their 98th error of the season. We've talked a lot about the goal to keep that error total in double figures, not to reach 100 this year. Still down dramatically from last year and even more so from 2007, but 2 errors last night, now 1 here tonight already. Leadoff man's aboard for the Mets. Beltran a threat to run as Jeff Francoeur stands in. And takes inside, has to jump back. Pitch was coming in at his shins. 90-mile-per-hour fastball from the 6'8", 23-year-old Sean West. West last time out, a loser in Cincinnati. That was an ugly ball game on Sunday. Pitch to Francoeur off the hands, hit foul over the Marlins dugout, hits the first row of seats and carries back out onto the field. Francoeur broke his bat. That start for Sean in Cincinnati lasted only 4 1/3 innings, allowed 5 runs on 5 hits. He walked 3, struck out 4. Trailing 1-0. He allowed a 3-run home run to the light-hitting catcher Corky Miller.
Francoeur about that left thumb. He's got a little device that he wears on it, but he did admit when he gets jammed, he feels it a lot more than if he hits one on the screws. I think velocity is something we're going to keep our eye on tonight with Sean West. Puzzling to Mark Wiley last time out, his fastball was mid to upper 80s. And when he is pitching normally, he's right around 90, low 90s.
Pop up, BC in full flight makes the catch. Boy, Brett Carroll got a good jump, and he has very good speed, and he needed both of those to get to that.
Long way for Brett Carroll to go, playing in deep right field. Keeps his concentration, nice smooth strides, and that keeps that head from bobbing.
He is indeed a premium corner outfielder. Tatis. Tatis last year the comeback player of the year. BC on the run again. Oh, a dive, and he just missed a foul ball.
He's getting his workout early.
Maximum effort.
Well, and the crowd responds. They know that, too, and they appreciate that. I was thinking about Tatis. In a perfect world for Jerry Manuel, the Mets manager, Tatis gets about 200 at-bats. Spot playing, a little bit here, a little bit there. He's got well over 300 at-bats this year. Because of all the injuries, he's had to play more.
Lines that one into right center. And Carroll will pick it up on a hop. Beltran ends up at second. Tatis has a base hit. It's going to bring up Omir Santos. I think, Tommy, for all young pitchers, and this isn't just the Marlins, this is all across baseball, in the month of September, pitching coaches, managers,
Right, Santos was a very popular guy early on, had some success. Pitchers enjoyed throwing to him. His numbers have come back to earth. They've got the youngster Tolle, who's never even played AAA. He was a September call-up from AA. Got off to a quick start. The Mets wondering, with a young player like that, do you break him in? Do you let him get his feet under him maybe a little bit sooner than you need to, in a market like New York especially? Hey, look at what's happened with Daniel Murphy. Payoff pitch to Santos, fouled out a plate on the right field line. The runners were going. You've got Beltran at second base, Tatis at first. One out in the top of the second. An error and a single have set the table here for the Mets. not a lot of big-name free agent catchers expected to be on the market this winter if the Mets look to fill that void through free agency. It seems as though the consensus is Brian Schneider won't be back with the Mets next year. Again, West.
They're running again. Line to right. Back goes BC. Makes the catch. Fires a bullet to first. My goodness.
Man.
He is fun to watch out in right field. I mean, he made that catch going back to the outfield wall, and then watch this. Change of direction.
He made it like a second baseman, turning a double play, and then fired a bullet to first. Look at all he's done just in this inning. Even the base hit by Tatis, he had to run into right center, and it dropped just in front of him.
Anderson Hernandez now with runners first and second. Ground ball, Hanley at short. Little flip to Ugla in time, and West works around that opening error by Cantu. Scoreless. Authority of the Florida Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins or Todd Pratt.
Another one of those catchers that could go on that list of hitting big home runs against the Marlins.
He hit a walk-off homer to finish a postseason series. Did Todd Pratt. John Maine. Shoulder issues for him. And remember, it was last year in this ballpark where Maine had shoulder issues. He was trying to talk his manager to keeping him in the game, and they finally took him out of the game. He ended up having surgery at the end of the year. And a spell on the disabled list this year as well for Maine with shoulder discomfort. With a big right-hander.
He actually had arthroscopic surgery on that shoulder September 30th, right at the end of the year.
Cantu pulls it foul. Cantu had some heroics last night. Jorge had a double in the fifth, and then a two-run double in the seventh, and that came with 2 outs, and it pushed across the go-ahead run and an insurance run. That was after the Mets had intentionally walked Hanley to get to Cantu, and that always feels good for a hitter when the guy in front of you in a key spot is intentionally walked. Count 1-2.
I think Cantu's done a great job batting behind Hanley Ramirez.
A liner up the middle into center field, the base hit. And Cantu is aboard with a leadoff single.
Take a look at the scouting report on the 28-year-old right-hander, John Maine, out of UNC Charlotte. He likes to elevate that fastball. He has been good against the fish, and third time out since the DL. He's the kind of guy that's always puzzled me why the Marlins haven't hit him better, because he throws a lot of pitches, same speed. He throws sliders, his fastball. He uses his fastball a lot.
Broken bat. Ugla dumps that one into left field. A base hit. So a couple of singles open up the second, and here comes John Baker.
Boy, shattered that bat as he got this on the end. A little decoy by Pagan. He knew he couldn't get to it.
Here's Bake. Baker last night was 1 for 2, robbed of a hit. And Maine misses away. Regardless of what happens tonight in Colorado, and St. Louis is back in Colorado, it would be nice for the Marlins to follow up last night's disappointment with a win here tonight. And it's something that the Marlins have shown throughout this season. I think we had a Geico quote from Baker the other night about the resiliency of this club. 2-0 pitches outside. The Marlins are looking for their 83rd win. The Braves got their 84th already today, so the Braves have won. The Giants have lost, so the Giants fall 5.5 back. The Braves can creep within 2.5 if St. Louis beats Colorado tonight. And it's Adam Wainwright who's on the mound for St. Louis, although that didn't seem to bother the Rockies last night. In a Chris Carpenter start, they got a walk-off sac fly from Yorvit Torrealba.
I think an interesting matchup. It's Wainwright, who goes for number 19, against Ubaldo Jimenez, who's 14 and 11. Now, if you start thinking about Cy Young, Lincecum lost last night. He's 14 and 7. Carpenter pitched well, but didn't get a decision. I really think if Wainwright comes out with a good game tonight, that could really ensure him of the Cy Young.
And with Tim Lincecum getting beat by the Cubs last night, I think you're right. Ross takes ball one. Cody Ross has hit 3 grand slams this year. He and Hanley Ramirez tied for the club record. 5 in his career. And Maine spins one up there for a strike. Cantu open with a line drive single to center. Ugla busted his bat but dumped one into left. And Baker walked on 4 pitches. And Ross just got jammed. So an out, and here comes Brett Carroll.
Well, that was one shot with runner at third, less than 2 out. Here's the Marlins' second shot, and this is the important at bat because Sean West is on deck.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, this was the breaking ball, an 0-2 breaking ball from Brad Lidge that Carroll jumped on to finish the game Wednesday. Don't know that he's going to see something that slow from John Maine. He did.
Got the slider.
And he missed it.
So far, sliders and fastballs from Maine.
BC's numbers.
Tonight is 24th start of the year for Brett Carroll.
He's faced Maine just once. He's 0 for 1. Nubs that one out towards second. Out there. No, wait a minute. Yes, out on the transfer. The Marlins get a run. and it's 1-0. Castillo had it in his glove long enough that it was on the transfer.
Well, because the ball was nubbed, there was no way that Luis Castillo was going to turn a double play. He was thinking about it. Would not have gotten Brett Carroll, so BC gets the RBI, the Marlins get a run.
And John Maine can get a moral victory, so to speak, if he can get Sean West out and give up just 1 run after having bases loaded and nobody out. Ball goes to the screen. How about that? Well, that's the last thing you want to have happen if you're the Mets. You got a guy at the plate in Sean West who had very few at-bats in the minor leagues, has had very little success at even making contact in the big leagues.
Yeah, and a pitch scoots under the glove of Santos. He did not block it. So Uggla scores and Carroll goes to second.
And Maine goes 2-0 on Sean West.
And he has a 6'8" target to throw at up there with Sean West standing.
Of course, Leo Nunez had trouble throwing strikes last night, and the guy that was trying to sacrifice bunt. I was watching the Rockies telecast the other night and heard a great story from their very good analyst, George Frazier. He said he was pitching in a game, and I forget if it was in the minors or in college or high school, and he was having a little trouble with control, and someone on his team screamed, "Come on, throw strikes." And he stopped the game and went over and handed him the ball and said, "Here, you do it." West rolls it to second. Well, the moral of the story is sometimes it's not that easy. Fish up, 2-0. Two-0 lead in the top of the third. It's upgrade your Marlins baseball experience courtesy of Heineken and Heineken Light. Now let's join Craig Minervini with our Heineken Light upgrade your experience winner, Janie Long from West Palm Beach.
It's Dwayne and Janice Long. I feel like I'm on the Price is Right here. These are the winners, along with grandson Jacoby right in the middle here. Big Marlin fans from Palm Beach Gardens. How exciting is this for you?
Oh, it's totally exciting. I've been waiting for the whole week.
What happened? How'd you win the contest?
Well, the Heineken Sun Sports, we got on the contest Upgrade Your Experience, sent in a postcard, and my wife's got drawn. Mine didn't, but I'm here. So.
She's always the lucky one in the family, right?
That's true.
You're a big Marlin fan. That's your grandson, right?
Yes.
What's his name?
Jacoby.
Jacoby. And who's your favorite Marlin?
Haley Ramirez.
Why do you like him so much?
Because he plays shortstop, and he's very good.
He is very good. You guys have been longtime Marlin fans from Palm Beach Gardens, and I saw one note on you that you remember back at what happened in '93.
93, Chuck Carr was on the team, and every time he was the leadoff batter, he always got his uniform dirty before he got to second base, and I loved that. He was like a go-getter, you know.
You remember them coming up? I actually worked in that area at the time. You up to Palm Beach Gardens and greeting the fans, huh?
Oh yeah, that was when the inaugural season. They come up to the Gardens Mall, and we got to meet Renee Lashman, Chuck Carr, Richie Lewis, and had autographs on gloves, and just a great experience. So that's where it all started for us.
All right, fans ever since. Good to see you. Congratulations. Enjoy the view. We'll revisit with them later. Not too bad, guys. Back up to you.
That's a pretty good upgrade, I would say. John Maine swings and misses.
Yeah, Craig from my neck of the woods, Palm Beach Gardens. That's great.
Angel Pagan and Louis Castillo coming up now for the Mets. Marlins up 2-0 in this one. Sean West looking for win number 8 in his rookie season. This is his 20th start. And here's Pagan.
Combined Double-A and here, this is his 31st start for Sean West. He had 11 in Double-A, Jacksonville. And this number 20, as you pointed out here.
Oh, 2.
So if you add that all up, 162 in the third innings going into this one tonight.
A little more life on the fastball, Tommy. I know you wanted to watch the,
That's right. We've
the
seen
velocity.
We've seen it more 90-ish in the low 90s.
One-two misses down low.
I think that's when you think about innings and pitches and all that a little more. I mentioned 162 plus now. Last year for Sean in Jupiter, he pitched in the Florida State League. He threw 100 innings.
There's a drive that is foul. I had referenced Tom Verducci and some of the things that he's written and researched in terms of innings. The Verducci effect is the jump in innings before the age of 25. And research shows that if you have a big jump before that age, you are prone to injury. That is BC at his best.
Boy, he's putting on a show tonight.
The young man's got some range, doesn't he?
The crowd's loving it, too. Picked himself up an RBI. And you know what? It was very insignificant, but by putting the ball in play, he picked up the RBI and then makes that fine catch.
All right, this is a term you don't hear much in baseball. You hear it more in basketball and maybe even in hockey. Brett Carroll is a high-energy guy. He brings energy to the team.
Mm-hmm. And you do hear it at times, pointed at certain players.
More prevalent in basketball, more prevalent in hockey.
But I think it certainly is important in baseball. I mean, everybody doesn't have to be a high-energy guy. But it's important, I think, to have a few of those guys.
I think Alfredo Amezaga is a guy that probably fits that bill.
And you point out those two guys, and guess what? Amezaga and Brett Carroll are loved by their teammates.
There is a great photo on the wall of the Marlins clubhouse, among other photos, but one in particular is of Brett Carroll in mid-flight as he's about to pie Wes Helms. And the look on his face is absolutely, we'll have to get that. In fact, we'll have it for you on the show tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow, we'll show it to you. Because Helms is there interviewing. You can see Craig's back, and PC is like 3 feet off the ground, pie in hand, with this look of, I'm about to pie Uncle Wes.
It's almost like I'm either about to make a spectacular catch or I'm about to pie Uncle Wes.
Or and, of course, right next to it is a picture of Wes pieing Brett Carroll after Carroll's walk-off the other night. I think, sometimes fans feel that ball players are just out there for the money, and it's once the game is over, they forget about it, go home. But when you see pictures like that up on the wall, pictures of the celebration, that's BC getting it. Craig, of course, getting out of the way.
Craig still has good reactions. He's not lost a step yet.
But there are great pictures on this. The one board as you walk into the Marlins clubhouse of post-game celebrations and moments like that the players all love and cherish as well as the fans. Hanley to Ugla in time. Inning over. Sean West looking good. Fish on top by a score of 2-0. Time now for a look at our Cabot Woodstain's legendary performance. On this date in '98, Dennis Eckersley pitches in his 1,071st game to break Hoyt Wilhelm's all-time Major League pitching appearance record.
What a great career the Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley had. From a starter, guy who was a 20-game winner, threw a no-hitter, and then compiled all those saves, most of them with the Athletics.
Battled some personal demons along the way. Here's Coughlin. He went after a first pitch early, and he gets a fastball in the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Rich, you know what? I'm seeing all the signs. There's a lot of signs tonight, and I love that.
Coughlin taps it to first.
And it's kind of making me reminisce and think about Dennis at Citi Field in New York. Our New York fan with the signs. I mean, he would fit in here tonight.
I think next time we go back to Citi Field, we got to have Dennis on again. Here's Glode, lined out to left. What was it he had for dinner? The $26
antipasto.
Yeah, that's right. Glode lines it to right. Francoeur is over and gets it.
He wasn't afraid to talk about that. And I'll bet he ate the whole thing, too.
Yeah. It was a $26 antipasta. There he is. The man with the signs. See, the thing about him as we watched him during the game.
Look at the people behind him trying to look, though.
He would cheer for the Mets, then he would yell at the Mets. Hanley drives it to right. Francoeur back there, and he makes the catch. And he makes a friend. 4-pitch inning for John Maine. That was brief. That's Dennis. That music means one thing. The duck. Only 2 Marlins have recorded 100 hits at home in a season. Who are they? Line drive left field. Chris Coughlin. Oh, my goodness. Coughlin missed it. And that's going to be an error. And Beltran is going to end up at second base. An E7. We'll get a look on the replay, see if he lost it in the lights or just missed it.
I think he just missed it. And that's the second time that Beltran's reached on an error. I mean, it could have been the lights at the last minute, but that was hard to tell. And Beltran thought he caught it. He didn't get the word until he almost got to first base from Luis Alicea, first base coach. Hey, you better go to second.
Francoeur. There's a grounder to short. Hanley whips it to first in time. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Yeah, guys, the other day, one of the umpires was remarking how dark it was around home plate. And actually, right before the Dolphins' Monday night game the other night, they switched some of the lighting. They haven't played a Monday night game here in years. I think way back to Christmas night. The glare, I know on the dugout where I am, some of the players almost have to guard their head with their cap because the glare is much lower now. From all directions. The lights are different than they were. I'm not saying he lost in the lights. You guys had a better angle on that. But they have changed here, making it a little more difficult for the players in virtually almost every angle.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. They can tilt and point the lights up on the light standards in different directions. And as we've documented for the longest of times, Josh Willingham was one of our best sources for that. Since it's a football stadium, the lights sit in a different spot than baseball-only stadiums. And I think, Tommy, you would agree that Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego was like that a lot as well.
Yeah, about the only time you'll occasionally see somebody lose a ball in the lights, but the time you see it consistently is usually in a football stadium. And they have been changed. Which they were for the Monday Night Football game.
I mean, you can just see the glare coming off those lights, and obviously those are the lights, if you're a left fielder, that you're looking at. It's all part of the learning curve in the big leagues for Chris Coughlin. Did not play left field at all until he arrived in the big leagues. And one shot into the seats. Well, he played one game in the outfield.
The game before he got here.
Was that in left or right?
It was in left.
Was it left?
Yeah. You know, and he's getting competition. We've talked about Rookie of the Year. Tommy Hanson, the right-hander with Atlanta, won his game today. The Braves beating Washington 11-5. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs. Hanson is 11-4 with a 2.98 ERA.
That's a pretty good rookie year.
We will not see Tommy Hanson in that series. However, the Marlins will see some good pitching. Jair Jurgens, Tim Hudson, and Javier Vasquez.
Yikes. And the Braves are really on a roll right now. As we pointed out the other night, in their last 10 games of the season, 3 against the Marlins when the Marlins are there, but the other 7 against the Washington Nationals.
Well, they've won 8 out of 10. They've won their last 5 now.
Cardinals and Rockies getting ready to start. Wow. Pretty good pitch.
Freddie wanted it. Sean West wanted it. John Baker wanted it.
Two. It's up and in. Tatis singled in the second. Omer Santos on deck. Runner goes on a fly ball left field. Well hit. Back goes Coghlan. That ball is gone. It's almost automatic when you don't get a call that should have been a third strike that the guy hits it in the seats.
Yeah, it has been lately. But I don't think the Marlins have figured out how to retire Fernando Tatis. This guy's a journeyman player, and he kills the Marlins. Slider, down, but out over the plate. You crowd him in with a pitch that was borderline strike, he can't swing at it. He can't pull the trigger on it. Pitch out over the plate that's down, he can do that.
And, of course, one of those runs unearned because of the error by Coghlan that put Beltran on base. Santos lofts one to left. Coghlan finds the track and the ball. So there's 2 outs in a 2-2 game. Fan Fest. Get your Blackberries, get your iPhones, get your daytimers out. Saturday, February 13th in 2010. That is Fan Fest from noon to 6. It's free to all fans. And as always, here at Landshark Stadium, live music, town hall meetings, fun for the entire family. You can pick out seats. 1-877-Marlins.
If it's a cool day, I might wear a sweater vest on Fan Fest. Usually isn't a cool day, though.
See, that's, thinking about the whole Chris Coghlan t-shirt night. If the Marlins were to have a Tommy Hutton night, a giveaway item with your likeness or your name on it, you would think it would be a sweater vest, but it's hard to find the right day to do that here in South Florida. Liner to right, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Anderson Hernandez will stop at second base. He's got himself a double. Well, the Mets come up with 2 runs and now have Hernandez in scoring position with Maine coming up.
Well, having some pretty good swings this inning. Even the line drive that Beltran hit that Coghlan couldn't catch, that was hit hard.
If you just happen by, it's 2-2 here in the 4th. And if you missed the pregame show, this was a great sight. The entire team came out in Chris Coghlan shirts, except Chris Coghlan. who had the black jersey on. Hanley had Coughlin, National League Rookie of the Year, like me, on his jersey. Dontrelle Willis and Hanley Ramirez, the two Marlin Rookies of the Year. Who are Mets Rookies of the Year? John Matlack, a Rookie of the Year? That's a Craig question, right?
We would have to go to our crack staff. Craig would have that off the top of his head.
1972.
It is Matlack, right?
15 games, yep.
Okay.
In fact, it's one of those, the argument you make for Hansen and for Happ is looking at the other guys. Nobody's ever won, and we mentioned the other night, with less than 13 wins, a Rookie of the Year. And the three guys, Wood, Nomo, and Valenzuela, all had breakout, dominant seasons. They were big, big stories around the league, even more so with the amount of innings they pitched and strikeouts they had than Hansen and Happ. And most of the guys are more like Matlack. They won 15, they won 17.
Doc Gooden, he had to be Rookie of the Year, wasn't he?
Won 17
I think
games.
so, yeah.
He was Rookie of the Year in 84.
Yeah, but I'll say this, though, if and especially going back to Matlack's era, 15 wins back then is the equivalent of what, 12 wins now?
Well, maybe not quite 12, maybe 13. And there's the pitchers that are candidates.
Yeah, these guys were pitching a lot more. There's no question your point about pitching more innings.
Hey, Craig, how many wins did Tom Seaver have in '67 when he was Rookie of the Year?
16. 16 wins. And but they were pitching a lot of innings, 280 innings, 250 innings.
And, of course, Darryl Strawberry, a Mets Rookie of the Year.
Fernando Tatis goes deep, ties this game 2-2. Brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By Checkers, little place, big taste. And by Honda South Florida. Visit your South Florida Honda dealers online at sfhondadealers.com to find a deal on fuel-efficient Honda. Fernando Tatis, the man who walked away from baseball for a couple of years and came back because he wanted to raise money to build a church in his town in the Dominican Republic. And so he comes back, wins Comeback Player of the Year last year, hit .297 with 11 homers. Built the church, and he's still going. Cantu takes a strike.
I think Pedro Martinez has done that as well, and he's still going. Although Pedro was scheduled to pitch tonight in Milwaukee. And man, after that 130 pitch performance, he had to leave his last game with stiffness in his neck, and I believe he was scratched from his outing tonight.
Cantu cracks that one in the gap. To the wall it goes. Does he have 3 in him? He'll pull up with a double. His 40th of the season.
Well, he knew that we were in dire need of our checkers double of the game.
That's how clutch he is.
Yeah, he is clutch. He's also aware that 40 doubles is nice, and he's also aware of his own speed, too. So for Jorge Cantu, just a solid swing, right center field, checkers double of the game, and number 40 for Georgie.
So is he staying within himself? Is that what,
yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
And he's also 8 for his last 12. How about that?
40 doubles is a nice milestone for a guy like Cantu, who has enjoyed early success in his big league career, then a few years marred by injuries to come back and have the season that he had last year. Follow that up this year with another solid year. In 2005, which was his big year in Tampa Bay, he had 40 doubles, hit 28 homers, and drove in 117 runs. Last year with the Marlins, 29 homers, 95 RBIs, and had 41 doubles. So with a couple more doubles, he has a chance to set a career high.
That's where sometimes home runs are deceptive. I mean, if you have a guy that's going to drive in as many runs as he did the year before and hit fewer home runs, so what? He's still productive.
The other thing that Cantu has done this year more than any time in his career is he has walked more. Now, I know he hasn't walked 75 or 80 times. Cantu has walked 45 times. But his career high last year was 40. So he's increased that. He's cut down on strikeouts. Last year he punched out 111 times. And this year he has struck out only 76 times.
Good stuff by Jorge Cantu.
Douglas swings and misses. And down he goes. All right, let's see the duck. Now, your go-to guy here would be Juan Pierre.
Anything concerning base hits, a lot of JP's my go. JP or Luis Castillo?
Oh, Hanley. And Juan Pierre did it twice.
All right. And this year, Hanley has 99 at home.
That one gets away, and Cantu ventures to third.
Boy, another opportunity. The Marlins scored a run on a wild pitch in the second inning, and now have an opportunity with one out to sneak one in here. So twice pitches getting away from both Maine and his catcher, Omir Santos.
We've seen Santos enough this year to, at least in my mind, say this is the roughest game I've seen him have behind the plate.
He's not an everyday catcher. So if the Mets see him as a number 2 guy, then that's okay. By the way, Kyle Kendrick got that start in Milwaukee for the Phillies.
So if Pedro is injured, Baker bounces it up the middle. Castillo spears it with the infield in. That's going to keep Cantu at third. So it's up to Cody Ross if the Marlins are going to get anything out of this inning, unless Maine uncorks another wild pitch. If Pedro Martinez is a question mark, it's hard to put him on the postseason roster and go into a series with him on that roster.
Absolutely. There were also some interesting quotes from Ruben Amaro Jr., the general manager, concerning Brad Lidge, saying he is not our closer.
I saw those quotes and then I thought to myself, well, then who is?
I don't think he said.
No. gets hit.
Boy, that caught him right on the hand and headed toward the dugout. Mike Kozak. With that left hand, you can hear it. Well, you get that feeling, it just gets numb. You know, one more note on Lidge.
He's headed to the clubhouse.
Unfortunately, I think Cody's going to have to leave the game, and you just hope that there's not any broken bone. But Lidge pitched an inning last night, the 7th inning. Gave up 2 hits and a run. So Cameron Maben's going to come in for Cody.
If you were Charlie Manuel, who would you pick as a closer? Would you go Ryan Madsen?
I would have to go back to Madsen. They really don't have any other choices. Pedro might have been a choice, but if he's hurting.
It's hard to know if you could use Pedro in back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into a postseason and not be able to use your closer twice in 2 nights. So we'll get you an update on Cody as soon as we can. Carroll is up, and Maine misses inside.
Maine's been all over the place in this inning. Ball's really sailing, taking off.
He's trying to get inside on Carroll. And he did that in the 2nd. Carroll hit a number out to short, which drove in a run. That knocked in the 1st run, and then Maine with the pitcher at the plate and 2 outs. And not a very good hitting pitcher, I might add, with Sean West. Then threw a wild pitch to score the other run.
Really, the hardest hit ball tonight by the Marlins was Cantu's double. And maybe Ross Glode's line drive to left field for an out.
You got West on deck, and so I think anything close, Brett Carroll's going to have a hack at it. Except the one that hits him. I don't think John Maine is throwing at anybody, as is evident by all the wild pitches.
No, he's just wild. I mean, there's no reason in this situation. But everything just, he's doing what they call pitching coaches to say he's not finishing his release, his delivery. And everything's up and in to righties. He hasn't thrown many pitches. Remember, he had that 4-pitch inning, last inning. So he's only at 46 now.
All right, Sean West is 2 for 29, actually 2 for 30 on the year. He did hit a ball pretty sharply out at 2nd back in the 2nd inning. But he was happy to see a wild pitch when he was up there the first time, and that pitch is down low. It's 1-0.
So you get a point now that if John Maine is close, he might not get the call because he's been all over the place.
I think that pitch right there was a good example.
Yeah.
Because that was close. And he misses down low. It's 2-1. Cantu doubled. A lot happened since then. A strikeout to Ugla, ground out by Baker. Ross got hit. Maben running for him. Carroll got hit.
Boy, chasing what would have been ball 3.
And it's 2-2. There are some managers. Here's the 2-2. A swing and a miss. Sometimes you'd almost want to tell a pitcher, in that case, 2-1, don't swing until you get 2 strikes. But you really shouldn't have to tell a big league player that.
Florida Marlins Baseball está disponible en español vía SAP y es presentado por KFC.
All right, everybody, let's all talk at once.
Hi, Richie, Tommy. Hey, amigos.
Hey, amigos. Hey, I have a question for Cookie.
Yes, sir.
Cookie, because I know it's not going to happen 100%, but you want to see it happen a little more often. What do you want a hitter thinking when he's up there, man on third, less than 2 outs?
Well, everything has to change, Tommy. You got to think about getting a pitch that you can handle, up in this zone to try to hit to the outfield when there's man on third base and less than 2 outs. And if the infield is back, try to hit a ground ball through the middle. That's how you drive in runs. It's just not swinging from trying to hit a home run or an extra base hit. It's just knowing what to do with that pitch and be patient.
I think the key, Tommy, wouldn't you say, is just to put the ball in play? I mean, once the ball's in play, a lot of things can happen as opposed to, swinging for the fences and not being able to make any contact.
Yeah, and I think that changes, especially if the infield's back.
That is correct. You got to get a pitch down so you can get on top of the ball to try to get a ground ball to the middle.
Sean West working on the top of the Mets order.
Batazo foul. It's frustrating when you get that leadoff double and then just can't get them in. But
with the bases loaded, because of the wild pitch, we scored 2 runs. Otherwise, we would score only 1 run. When we can get a rally going, score 4 or 5. That's a big difference.
Yeah, John Maine has been his own worst enemy tonight.
Sure has been.
Little Looper is going to fall in for a base hit. All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
Thank you, guys. You too. Texas.
Did you hear that, Tommy? In Spanish.
It's a
Texas Leaguer.
Little bloop by Pagan. I think he respects the arm of Brett Carroll. Some other right fielders, I think he was thinking about getting to second base.
A Texas Leaguer.
So in many languages, it's still a Texas Leaguer.
That still, to my knowledge, is the only minor league that has its own hit named after it. I've not heard of a Southern Leaguer.
Nor a Pacific Coast Leaguer.
Globe picks up the bunt, tags out Castillo. So Castillo's sacrifice moves Pagan up for the bats of David Wright and Carlos Beltran, their third time against Sean West's. Fifth inning, 2-2 ball game.
I think that's one of the things the Cookie talking about, trying to get 3 or 4 runs in an inning. I think it's one of the things we've seen the Braves do lately, and they did it today against Washington. They had a fairly close game going, a 2-run lead, I believe, and then they opened things up and made it an 11-5 game.
Scored 5 runs in the ninth. And then Washington scored 1 to make it 11-5. St. Louis has 2 runs early and leads Colorado 2-0. David Wright.
You realize David Wright this year has 1 home run more than Chris Coghlan. Coghlan with 9. Wright has 10. By the way, that was career sacrifice bunt number 110 for Luis Castillo.
Now, some of that has to do with Citi Field, but not all of it.
Not
has
all
to
of
do
it. Not all.
with
He's
Citi
playing
Field.
half his games on the road.
You know how many homers he's hit at home and on the road?
Probably even.
Yep, you got it.
5 and
5 and 5.
So the power just hasn't been there. It's easy to throw it off on a new, bigger ballpark. But it goes a little deeper than that. And I'm sure he'll figure things out by next year. It's 34 doubles. So he's driving the ball this year. Home and road, a lot more RBIs on the road. And we talked about it last night. The other thing to factor in, the absence of some in the lineup that he's been used to hitting around.
Delgado, Beltran's been out for a couple months. Reyes isn't always on base. Drive to right. Maven's not going to get that one. And David Wright is going to knock in a run on the road. And the Mets on top, 3-2. That's the David Wright that the Marlins have come to know throughout the years. 35 doubles now.
Yeah, seeing him drive the ball that way. And he hit this one well. Look where the pitch was, though. Bake moved in. Ball was middle of the plate. And one hop played by Maven, but not going to get anybody. Just held right to the double. Pagan scoring easily. But the whole key, you saw John Baker set up inside. That's where they wanted that fastball, down and in, and he reached out over the plate. Never caught it because Wright caught it.
The hopper is up. Beltran has reached twice on errors. One on Cantu, a throwing error. One on Coghlan, a line drive that Coghlan missed.
Which it reminded me, not at all the same type of play, but the play on the ball Coghlan hit in Cincinnati that was lost in the lights but not touched. Coghlan touched his, but even if it was touched but you lose it in the lights, it's a base hit. But it was ruled an error because it was hard to tell if he lost it in the lights.
They have finished the top of the first in Colorado, and St. Louis has a 3-0 lead. One to one.
Things starting to really get interesting in that American League Central. The White Sox are beating Detroit again tonight, 6th inning, but they're leading 5-3. Minnesota is winning their game in Kansas City. If those two games hold up the same way, it'd be a 1-game lead for the Tigers.
And they open up a 4-game series, I think, on Monday.
Yes.
Boy, even without Justin Morneau, the Twins keep winning. They started the season without Mauer, and they're finishing the season without Morneau.
Michael Kadire hit his 30th home run.
That ball's well struck to left. Coughlin back, reaches, and makes the catch.
Well, I'll say one thing. The Mets have hit a lot harder balls tonight than the Marlins have. Outfielders are getting a workout. Coughlin has. Brett Carroll has. Chases this one down. And this is a play, I think even with a little more experience, his route might be a little better, but he's still able to catch up to it and make the play. And probably 2 or 3 months ago, he might not have caught that ball.
As well, Tommy, if he is going to be in left field for the Marlins next year, he will have an entire offseason and spring training to work on his outfield skills. You really can't do that during the course of a season. I mean, you can take some fly balls and all that, but in spring training, you can really zero in on some things, change your technique. That one gets by Hanley, and it's into left center. Francoeur races around first, headed for second, and he is out. Did the run score? No run! He didn't get to the plate. My goodness.
Wow.
David Wright did not get to the plate before Francoeur was tagged out at second. And if that doesn't sum up the Mets season, look at that. No run. Wright wasn't busting from second base. Here's a guy that normally plays the game hard.
Yeah, he does. And I'm sure very embarrassed at not busting it when his teammate, Jeff Francoeur, was trying to get a double. So a great play by Maven to get to the ball, get it back in quickly, get Francoeur at second before Wright touched the plate.
Coughlin against Maine, who's been all over the place. Here's a look at it.
He kind of slows up right at the end. And there's right in sync. The out made. Now he steps on the plate. And so heads up call by the home plate umpire, too, Phil Cuzzy.
You could see Bake, too, was watching.
Yeah. Bake was all over that, too.
Yeah, he was.
So he was probably running hard. We didn't see the whole way, but you could see right at the end is when he slowed up, and that cost him.
Coughlin takes down low.
But, yeah, good job by Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire, to spot that.
Line drive, base hit. Chris Coughlin's got a hit.
That's a little more Cogs light. That last couple of times he didn't have real good swing, so that time he made himself stay back and take one up the middle.
Ross Gload has lined out, flied out. Gload drops down a bunt. Wright, bare hands, and gets the out. So Coughlin's at second. We check in with Craig.
Guys, Ross Gload's a happy camper today. He is a University of South Florida Bull, and he won a little friendly wager with Dom, one of the clubhouse guys, because of the football game today, and he brought in his jersey. This is Matt Grothy's jersey. He's the quarterback for the University of South Florida over in Tampa. The Bulls went up to Tallahassee and beat Bobby Bowden Seminoles 17-7 this afternoon. So because of that, Dom has to wear this jersey all day. Otherwise, Gload would have been in Seminole colors for the day. But very proud of his South Florida Bulls with a big win. I didn't know USF's been in the top 10 at different times in the last couple of years. Not bad.
Big East. That was a big win for that program. Hanley Ramirez takes up and in.
I think on Ross Gload's bunt, which was his first sacrifice bunt since 08, I think he was trying to bunt for a base hit. But Wright just made a pretty good play on the bunt. It was probably tapped a little too hard. But worst case scenario, he got Coughlin to second base.
And he sets things up for Hanley Ramirez. You got Cantu right behind him.
Still hitting well, 378. Hanley Ramirez hitting with runners in scoring position. Trying to hit number 25 right there.
And 26.
You know what, though? When you guess and you get your pitch, that's the kind of swing you like to see.
There's Coughlin. It's amazing, as wild as Maine has been. He's hit a couple. He has a couple of wild pitches. The Marlins have just 2 runs and 4 hits against him.
Yeah. And he's only walked 1.
Yeah, complete lack of command, but 1 walk and 2 runs. Misses outside.
And in his case, it's hard to tell if his wildness continued or he was trying to pitch around Hanley.
That's a good point. Well, Cantu is 2 for 2 against him. All right, tomorrow is closing day. 1:10 for the Marlins and the Mets. She's making plans to be here. And why don't you? First 10,000 fans get a Marlins magnetic schedule for 2010. It's courtesy of Tobacco Free Florida. And afterwards, at the Strike Zone, a special closing day party with special guest Pitbull.
Well, we talked about Jorge Cantu. 8 hits now in his last 12 at-bats. Hit his 40th double of the season last time up.
He got jammed. Santos back, and it's out of play quickly. It's 0-2. We were talking about Cantu's numbers last year, and then going back to 2005. And I looked at the doubles and all the doubles that he's had. He had the 40 doubles in 05, 41 last year, 40 this year. He has not hit a triple since 2006. Jorge Cantu. Good news on Cody Ross. X-rays negative. Listed as day-to-day with a left wrist contusion.
Yeah, that thing will be sore tomorrow.
Main down front 0-2. Cantu just keeps fighting off fastballs. In the month of September, only 2 other players in the National League have driven in more runs, Ryan Howard and Casey McGee. See Hanley on that list as well.
And we were talking about Derek Lee the other night.
Cantu needs to finish with a flourish to get over 100 for the second time in his career. Now at 93. Up. Not by much. 1-2.
So he has started and finished strong. Jorge Cantu had 22 RBIs in the month of April.
Cantu rips it down the line, in the corner, fair ball. Coughlin's going to score. Hanley will hold right there. And Cantu adds to his total, ties the game, 94 RBIs. 3 hits for Cantu.
Oh, stay hot, Georgie. Bain continued trying to pound him inside. They didn't get it in far enough. And Jorge Cantu didn't give. He was staying right there with every swing. Fouled back a couple of fastballs, got another one. This time, pulled the trigger. 1 hop off that wall, double number 41, a 3-for-3 night. Just a solid swing by Cantu.
He almost hit that ball too hard. If he hits it a little softer, it rattles around in that corner, and Hanley has a chance to score. So it's Uggla now, with 1 out and the infield in. That's a situation that you talked to Cookie about.
Yeah, and this is with the infield in, you're thinking of, as Cookie pointed out, get a pitch that you can drive, because you're thinking of driving a ball at least into the outfield, worst case scenario, a sacrifice fly. Best case scenario for Dan Uggla, driving one into the seats.
But of course, as Cookie and you added to it, you can't go up there with that mindset of hitting it into the seats.
No, you can't.
Uggla rips it left field. Base hit. Cantu to third. Hanley scores. Uggla with his second hit of the night. 85th RBI of the season.
Boy, that's the way you drive it. He got that pitch that he liked. It just smoked it between third and short. That was an approach I always found was a little better to take. Instead of thinking fly ball, sometimes if I thought that, you'd get under it, you'd drop the backside, you'd pop up. So think drive the ball hard, sometimes back up the middle. Then if you got a pitch out over the plate, you can hit one deep. That ball was smoked.
Elmer descends. Warming up. Dan Warthen out to talk to Maine, and here comes Bake. Bake has walked and bounced out. Remember the run that the Mets should have had when David Wright eased up on his way to the plate. Francoeur was thrown out at second, trying to stretch it to a double. Wright seemingly could have scored easily before then and didn't. And that's the difference in the game right now. But Cantu's 90 feet away. Uggla's at first. Maine is thinking ground ball. Bake trying to drive in a run.
Bake's thinking try to make it hurt a little bit more, and he got a changeup. Maine hasn't thrown a lot of changeups. It's a pretty good one.
Mets pitching coach. He came aboard last year when they fired Willie Randolph. Let Rick Peterson go as well.
So Dan Warthen, a former left-hander in the big leagues. It's always funny. A lot of times pitching coaches maybe didn't have much success. He was always known for his wildness. Terrific guy.
Who's the best pitcher that ever became a pitching coach?
Good question.
I mean, a guy that was a really good pitcher.
Well, I'll give you a name that just popped into my head, because I've heard from many that they loved him as a pitching coach. I believe he won 200 games. Is Claude Osteen. And I'm sure there have been others. Jim Cott was a pitching coach for a brief time.
That one fouled back. You know,
and any time we can mention Jim Cott.
Anytime we can mention it, it's a good night. One of the good people in the game. There's Cantu across the diamond is Uggla.
This is the second opportunity, by the way, Bake's had tonight with a runner at third and less than 2 out.
Goes up and after it, and flat out missed it.
You can see him checking with Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire. He wanted to know if he swung at a strike. I think with 2 strikes, you almost have to swing at that pitch, but it probably was a ball, but a tough one to lay off of.
Here's Maben. Cameron came into the ball game when Cody was hit by a pitch and left in a lot of pain in the 4th. And this is his first at bat. Maben has made a big play in this game. It was he who threw out Francoeur at second just before Wright sauntered across the plate.
Yeah, this has been one of those crazy nights for Maine with the pitches all over the place.
There's a strike. Maybe didn't think so, and it's 2-1. I'll tell you a guy who had a outstanding big league career on the mound and has been a very good pitching coach is Dave Righetti in San Francisco.
There's another one. Very good.
Maben left field. That ball's launched. Gone! 3-run shot. Cameron Maben. of the season.
What an interesting turn of events. He doesn't start the game tonight. Cody Ross does. Brett Carroll does. He gets in the game because Cody was hit by a pitch and then displays some of that power with just a rocket shot and a 3-run shot. You could see the reaction of Maine as soon as he saw Maben hit it. Wow.
Elmer descends, misses outside to Brett Carroll. The Marlins have a 7-3 lead. Cameron Maben with a 3-run homer. Jorge Cantu with an RBI double. And descends, misses outside. Baseball is unlike any other sport. Momentum is measured, I think, a lot easier in football or basketball or even hockey, other sports like that. But the play that Maben made in the outfield that kept the Mets from scoring that extra run almost feels like a tipping point in this game.
Yeah, if you think about it, if he doesn't get to the ball as quickly as he did, if he doesn't make a perfect throw, Francoeur is safe at second with a double, and Wright scores. But because he did those two things, he got Francoeur for the out, the final out of the inning, and Wright didn't score.
Brett Hayes is going to pinch hit. So the Marlins are going to go to the bullpen to start the 6th inning now that they have a 4-run lead.
Well, we saw Hopper down there. He's ready. The veteran, the journeyman, Elmer descends, trying to throw strikes. There's Burke Badenhop. He's been throwing for a while, so he's ready.
Freddie Gonzalez and the Fish trying to win number 83.
A nice moment in the dugout when Maben got back after the home run. Saw him chatting with Uncle Wes. Uncle Wes talks to them all the young kids.
Hayes rips one. That's in the corner. BC racing for third. Up with the ball, Pagan. They will send him. Here comes Carroll. Oh, hit first slide.
Energy. There's some energy right there. Brett Hayes with his second pinch hit, driving in Brett Carroll. Hayes hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities, but There it is. First double of his career, and he smoked it.
Yeah, he did. Remember the moment when he hit his first big league homer? This has to feel good as well.
Yeah, and he's happy that Brett Carroll was the runner at first base. The ball was hit sharply, but a long way for Pagan to go. Here comes BC. Show a little of that energy.
Line to left. Pagan back off the wall. Coghlan has got extra bases.
Cogs is back, too.
2 hits for Coghlan. Hayes scores.
Just what we were talking about, trying to get a team and then burying them. Put some runs on the board, stretch the lead. Chris Coghlan started this inning with a single, so he has 2 hits in this inning.
Here's Glode now. Breaking ball from Descends, misses down low. And a strike. Cameron Maben, Brett Hayes.
And by the way, another multi-hit game for Chris Coghlan. Baseball Writers of America, take note.
Number 46, I believe. That is a fair ball. Tatis makes the throw, and Descends gets over to first. And that ends the inning, but the Marlins put a big, crooked number up. 7 runs and a 9-3 lead. Cotton Candy, big crowd.
Cotton Candy always seems better on a Saturday night, too.
Oh, yeah. Cameron Maben with a 3-run homer. Burt Badenhop comes out of the pen, and the Hopper's job is to throw strikes, get outs, move this game along. He gets Fernando Tatis, Omir Santos, and Anderson Hernandez.
Now, we talked about Tatis a couple of innings ago, how he's hit the Marlins. This year alone, Fernando Tatis is 17 for 40. That's a .425 average. 3 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Good breaking ball for a strike.
So he's done that damage in 14 games this year against the Fish.
Atlanta has won already today. The Braves keeping the pressure on the Rockies. San Francisco has lost. The Cubs beat him 6-2. Tom Gorzolani gets the win. Barry Zito got the loss. And the Cardinals have taken a 3-0 lead early in Colorado. That's third inning. So the Marlins, if they can win this ball game, have an opportunity.
You just keep treading water. That's what you have to do.
Hanley fires it on over to first. And, of course, the Marlins and the Braves will collide on Monday in a 3-game series. We'll be there for all 3 games in Atlanta.
We told you about the matchups. Anibal Sanchez and Jair Jurgens Monday night. Rick Vandenherk and Tim Hudson on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Ricky Nolasco and Javier Vazquez. I was talking about some of those complete games that were thrown last night. And when you're a veteran, and you were talking about that article of Tom Verducci in SI, the stressful innings, the age. There's another thing about being a veteran and throwing a complete game as Javier Vazquez did with 104 pitches. Or if you're Carlos Zambrano, 98 pitches, a complete game.
Well, the Hopper going right after hitters. Has a couple of outs. And here is Anderson Hernandez. One ball, one strike. Douglas surrounds it, and the Hopper comes in and does what the Hopper does best. Throw strikes, get out. Brought to you by Corona, official sponsor of the timeout, and by Carrabba's Carside Carryout. Just phone in your order and we'll deliver right to your car. I'm being told Jupiter, and in high def, I'm being told you can see the moon.
See, if that's Jupiter, then right in here is Roger Dean Stadium, somewhere right there.
See, we don't, our monitors up here are not high def. And so it's sort of like, you know,
Nor are they flat screen, nice monitors either.
So sometimes we have to ask for help. Here comes Broadway, Lance Broadway.
Well, Descends got Jerry Manuel out of that inning. Didn't want to keep the veteran in there, so he brings in his younger right-hander, Lance Broadway.
One coming to Hanley. Lance Broadway is one of the great New York names. I wonder if he's met Joe Namath. Hanley hits a sharp ground ball. Hernandez backhands. And then throws a strong one over to first in time to get Hanley.
Joe Namath, a South Florida resident, up in the Jupiter area.
Cantu up.
Lance Broadway lives in Mansfield, Texas. I doubt he's ever met Joe Namath.
He may have seen the Goo Goo Dolls, though, at one time. Or Omar Vizquel. Two doubles and a single. 3 hits for Cantu. And he takes inside from Broadway. Adam Wainwright shutting out Colorado. Tommy stating earlier that if Wainwright can win that game decisively, that might nail down the Cy Young. That's a foul ball. Wow, it looked fair.
Boy, it sure did. I know that.
Here comes Freddie.
Third base umpire Bill Hahn made a very violent call. Looked like he threw his shoulder out. But he was as close as anybody. He's a lot closer than we are, and certainly closer than Freddie. But you got to go with your coach. Let's see if this ball lands.
Oh.
The thing that's deceiving, I don't think. It's tough to tell if it hit the line, but there was some powder that bounced up in the air.
Yes, there was.
Now, which is amazing that Bill Hahn made the foul call, because a lot of times you see that and you're going to say fair.
Cantu's thinking to himself,
boy, that was close.
That would have been his third double. I think he was a better umpire when he had the mustache. It's just not the same.
Yeah, we still love Bill Hahn, though. You were talking the other night about the many charitable things. Umpires are involved wherever they live, their hometowns. They're involved in a lot of different charities too.
Cantu foul tips that one. Broadway gets a strikeout. Yeah, up in that Curtis Pride has that event that you and I have had a chance to take part in.
Yeah, the
wiffle ball
tournament for the hearing impaired.
Yeah, that's always a fun event.
Who do we always see? We see
Angel Hernandez and
Ed Rapuano.
And
Angel Hernandez are always up there.
They always come out for the championship game of that to serve as the unofficial umpires. Ugla, a couple singles. 85 RBIs now for Dan. Drove in a run in that 5th inning. 7 runs in the 5th for the Fish.
There were key base hits in that inning, but none bigger than the 3-run homer of Cameron Maven, because it came after John Baker struck out. That was second out of the inning. It looked like Maine might get out of the inning.
Uggla swings and misses, and it's 2-2. Crowd here. Last night, 39,000. Tonight, I would guess upwards of 30. End of the bat shot, and it squirts foul just in time for Uggla to keep the at bat alive.
Yeah, nice and lively. You like to see it like this. It was Wednesday night against the Phillies. Over 30,000 in that game.
Yeah, I think the Marlins are probably going to go over 100,000 for this weekend.
Love to see a nice big crowd out here tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be warm, but you know what? It's the final home game of the season to show your appreciation for a ball club that's given you a lot of thrills this year.
3-2 pitch. Uggla lines it. Nice play. We always show the ball boys whenever they kick one. Watch the play by this youngster. He even reads the label on it.
Made it look easy.
Three and two. Uggla takes inside. That's ball 4. You were talking about the American League Central and how the Tigers and the Twins are going down to the wire. The White Sox were up early. They had a 5-0 lead over the Tigers, but the Tigers have come back to take a 7-5 lead.
Wow.
And that's in the 8th inning. The Twins continue to hammer Kansas City 7-2. Also in the American League today, something happened that for the first time in Major League history, Ichiro got ejected for arguing balls and strikes. First time in his career.
And he didn't need an interpreter either.
Apparently not. Apparently he said something that crosses all,
barriers.
Language barriers. Off of Broadway.
Oh, that's bad luck. Oh, Broadway's okay, but Bake hit that ball and it ricocheted right to Tatis.
See, Bake never thought he would have an off-Broadway hit.
Oh, bada bing!
Certified freeze cam. What shall we freeze? Cameron Maben with 2 on. Line drive, gets out.
3rd home run of the year for Cameron Maben.
The hopper still out there. And the Mets are going to bring Jeremy Reed up. The Marlins going to hang on to this lead. They will go into tomorrow and probably feel pretty good about the pitching matchup. Josh Johnson at 15-5 against Pat Mish, who was 1-4.
JJ 3-0 this year against the Mets. 7-0 in 9 career starts against New York. By the way, the walk that Dan Uggla drew last inning, his 89th walk this year. I don't think we would have thought that we would be talking about Dan Uggla moving him into 5th place on the Marlins all-time list for most walks in a season.
Wow. Which begs the question, who holds the record for most walks?
He's not going to catch Gary Sheffield, 142 in one season.
Who else? Who are the other guys on that list? Gets me thinking.
Well, he passed Derek Lee.
I was going to say
Lee was 6th at 88.
Cabrera up on that list?
I don't think Miggy walked that much. Miggy liked to swing the bat.
My thought was people pitched around him that much. Out to center field. Maben goes back.
You're making our crack staff scurry, and they're very good at scurrying.
What else have they got to do in the next 3 innings?
Nothing.
There's Pagan. Especially with the hopper out there throwing strikes. Reed is out.
I don't think Moises Alou would be on that list.
Who else was a good plate disciplined guy? Can't really think of anybody off the 06, that group of rookies that came in.
Yeah, rookies aren't going to be on that list. Well, you got Sheffield 2nd with 121, so he's on there twice.
Oh, okay.
Derek Lee's on there again in 02. He had 98. And Hanley had 92 last year. So there you go. So this year, Hanley has walked, interesting, just 57 times.
He's a run producer, Tom.
Yeah, he's a number 3 hitter now.
It's a different spot. I mean, he's been at or near the top with runners in scoring position all year long. Escobar continues. He has had a tremendous year for the Braves. Every time I look at a Braves box score, he's driven in a couple of runs.
And way up there, if not leading the league, with runners in scoring position.
Those are your walk season leaders. And Uggla certainly within shot of passing Hanley's numbers from last year. Every team needs a hopper.
Well, his ability to come in and throw strikes and get outs.
Fans, mark your calendars for the Marlins, Mermaids, and Manatees open auditions. Here's your chance, Tommy. It's coming up on Sunday, the 17th, at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood. Manatee registration begins at 8 a.m., and the Mermaids registration is at 11 a.m. There will be a breakfast buffet for the Manatees after registration.
I might need that buffet if I plan on registering.
Castillo lobs it into left field for a base hit. 1-877-MARLINS, or visit marlins.com. Get you more information, dates, and all that.
Well, you could tell Chris Coughlin had more trouble on a ball. I think he started after that one. I don't know if he pulled back because he realized he couldn't get to it, or if he lost it momentarily. But he's had some trouble out there tonight.
David Wright. And a strike to Wright, who has an RBI double, bounced into a fielder's choice, and grounded out. 3-1, St. Louis over Colorado in the fourth.
It's amazing how the Rockies have been winning games. They won that one last night in the ninth inning. Got a big pinch hit from Jason Giambi, who has been tremendous since he was acquired by the Rockies. Gotten some big hits, driven in some runs.
Big swing and a miss.
He kept the inning alive for a sac fly by Torrey Albin to win the game.
Last night was the first time back for Matt Holliday. Wouldn't it be ironic if the Rockies get to the postseason and they play the Cardinals? And Holliday, who was a postseason hero in helping get the Rockies to the World Series a couple years ago, is playing against him as a Cardinal.
Where do you think Matt Holliday is going to be next year? You know, another club that's really interested, the Cubs.
The Braves need some power in their outfield, although they've got some young power coming up in their system.
Well, Scott Boras is his agent. And remember how much Teixeira got.
So you think the new owners of the Cubs are going to open their wallet?
Oh, I'm not saying he's going to go there, but they certainly would have to open their wallet. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, whoever owns the Cubs is going to have to pay the bulk of Milton Bradley's salary wherever they send him.
Which is about $20 million more.
Yeah. Struck him out at the knees. Wright's not happy. Hopper punches him out, and the Marlins lead it 9-3. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Marlins have bounced back nicely from last night's disappointment. A 9-3 lead in the bottom of the seventh. No more Lance Broadway.
We'll go to Brian Stokes. How about that? I think whether it's too little, too late, I think it's just a great indication as to the way this ball club has played all year. They rip your heart out and then come back and just have some great games.
Maben, a swing and a miss. Maben's appearance in this game was happenstance. It was Cody Ross that got hit by a pitch in the fourth, left with a contusion. The x-rays were negative. He's listed as day-to-day, and so Maben came in defensively. And he promptly made a big play with 2 outs. And David Wright at second. He went into the gap in left center and picked off a Francoeur liner. As you see Sanchez in the bullpen. Maben wheeled and threw it to second as Francoeur tried for a double and threw him out. And he threw him out before Wright crossed home plate. Wright had slowed up before touching the plate. And the Mets at that point had a 1-run lead. It should have been a 2-run lead. And of course, the Marlins turn right around and put 7 on the board in the 5th inning. Here's that play again. And this has Tommy's tips written all over it for a kid's Sunday.
Yeah, you got to love the hustle by Cameron Maben, getting the throw, making a perfect throw. But the tip is always, kids, run hard until you touch the plate. I think Wright was running hard, and then he put it into cruise control just before he got to the plate.
You know, another nuance of that play that I just noticed, the ball that Francoeur hit, Wright stopped and let it go, had to stop because it would have hit him to let it go by him, and then he started again off second base.
Which would lead you to say he should have been even going harder, if anything. But you know what? You're a player like David Wright, and I know you and I both admire the way he plays this game. He will learn from that, and I guarantee he'll never make that mistake again.
BC takes a fastball up.
And ironically, it was Maine's pitch that hit Cody Ross that allowed Cameron Maben to come in the game.
Here's that, what I was talking about, that took the 3rd replay to notice. Watch the ball and watch Wright. So if the ball's hit to his left and he gets a cleaner start, he probably scores.
Scores easier.
Yeah.
Even if he puts it in cruise control.
Two and 2 to Brett Carroll, who has the start tonight and has contributed with an RBI. He's been hit by a pitch. He's been walked. He's had to make every kind of play imaginable out in right field. And he's done that well, as usual. You can see the book on Carroll from the Mets, the way they've pitched him tonight. They have busted him in with fastballs all night long.
They saw that pitch out over the plate, breaking ball that he hit off Brad Lidge the other night for the game winner, the slider out over the plate.
And Carroll goes down swinging. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, guys. Here's another look at our Heineken Light Upgrade Your Experience promotional winner. And it is Janice and Dwayne Long, right there in the middle of your screen with their grandson, Jacoby, who's 7 years old. They're from Palm Beach Gardens, enjoying their upgraded Marlins baseball experience tonight at the ballpark, part of our Heineken Light Upgrade Your Experience promotion. Good fans, too. They followed the team. They told us earlier, since '93. Remember the Chuck Carr visit up to the Gardens Mall way back in '93 with the manager, Renee Latchman.
Craig,
Marcelo.
Good stuff. They're seeing a good game, too.
Craig, when you were a kid, did you ever win a big contest like that?
I don't think so.
Where you send in enough Cheerios box tops? And
yeah, I used to send in, the Daily News used to have the college games. I used to send that in, the box tops. The only thing I won is a, you guys are going to laugh at this, but you remember the game show Card Sharks? Take this first.
That's all right. Gabby Sanchez is going to send that one out to Begon. I do not.
It's an old game show.
All right.
It's being rerun these days. In fact, they do a promotion here, Card Shark. They opened up with a poem to the show. And then they would read a poem and say, hey, that was Joe Johnson in Ohio. Thanks for that and welcome. So I sent the poem in, and they sent me a card back saying that my poem would be used as the open to the show. And I never saw it. A week later, they sent me the same card. They never put the date on it. So I've been taping this.
That's how they boost the ratings.
I know,
they get you to
keep
watch.
watching it. But, you know, who would have thought 30 years later they replay the old shows? So I've been taping it, waiting to hear that, you know, little teenager Craig Minerverini from Long Island sent this thing in. So I haven't seen it still.
How about you, Tommy? When you were a kid, ever win a contest?
No. Not that I can remember.
I won
What'd you win?
I won at the local shoe store an ABA basketball. Remember the red, white, and blue
red, white, and
basketball?
blue one, yeah.
When Rick Barry was in his heyday in the ABA. Yeah, wait a minute. Weren't you on the dating game?
Yeah, but that's not winning a I didn't win.
There were some fine parting gifts, though, right?
Not that I ever received.
Did you get a phone number or two?
Nothing.
See, back then you didn't have the cell phones or anything.
No,
it was a little harder to.
You couldn't say text me.
Coughlin drives that ball to left. Pagan is back, and Chris flies out. Coughlin is 2 for 5 in this ball game, and the Marlins are up 9-3. In the game, holds of the day brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Met hold leaders Pedro Feliciano, Light My Fire, 22 holds. Just as Miller relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
No wonder he has so many holds. He leads the major leagues in appearances.
I saw that.
84. And there's Brian Sanchez. Here's a situation where, yeah, Freddie could have let Badenhop hit and strung him out for a couple more innings. But he's not thinking tomorrow. He's thinking that series in Atlanta. And you want the hopper ready. So he brings in Brian Sanchez here.
And you want the hopper ready on Monday.
Yes.
As soon as possible. That Monday matchup has Anibal Sanchez against Jair Jurgens. Rick Vandenhert, Tim Hudson in game 2. Nolasco, Javier Vasquez in game 3.
Well, you don't know if he can equal what he did, but you'd love to see Sanchez throw the ball the way he did against the Phillies. 8 shutout innings. Gave up just 2 hits. Second game of that doubleheader.
Beltran is 0 for 3. He's reached on a couple errors. And he hits that ball real far and real deep. And it's out of here. 10 homers on the season now for Beltran. He greets Sanchez with a solo shot to open up the 8th.
Well, it's certainly a big part of what the Mets missed this year is his 4-year average as a Met coming into this year. 33 home runs, 105 RBIs. So they missed the switch hitter, middle of their lineup, doing what he just did there.
Francoeur now.
There are some Mets fans here. Not as many as we've seen in the past, but it gave them a little something to cheer about.
Toby Stoner. Francoeur singled in the 5th, had the 3-run homer last night. Glowed. Nice play. On out here in the 8th, our Geico quote of the game from Brendan Donnelly. It's going to be tough to bounce back. We have our backs to the wall. Brendan sounding like a television analyst or a TV play-by-play guy. The chips are down. There's no tomorrow.
Taking it one day at a time.
You know, Tommy, earlier tonight, when asked by our producer, John Sulzer, if he could voice a highlight package, Tommy remarked, anything I can do to help the team. Ugla calling for it. I wanted to say can of corn, but I just couldn't bring myself to.
As long as we're on to cliches.
Yeah. Wear that one out too.
Well, like I said earlier, you know you just keep going and keep treading water. If that's what you have to do, you keep going until, and I've heard this term, a few players have used it, until you see the asterisk by your name. But there are a whole bunch of teams right now that aren't able to say that.
That's not what Roger Maris was saying when he was chasing down that record in '61. He wasn't going until he saw the asterisk.
He was not thinking asterisk, no.
Breaking ball from Sanchez, a strike. Well, the Rockies are up off the canvas and making noise in Colorado. 2 runs in the 4th. They go to the 5th, 3-3, Cardinals, Rockies. Omir Santos swings and misses. Inning over. A Francoeur, or rather a Beltran homer. The only run for the Mets. Atlanta, shall we? The red hot Braves trying to chase down the Rockies just like the fish. Atlanta winners again today. The tool race, the drill always falls over. What's up with that? Then it's Philadelphia. Phillies may have already clinched at that point. And if that happens, we'll have to call in for reinforcements. And that would be the Fanatic. 9-4, Fish on top, bottom of the 8th.
A lot of twisting and shouting going on in between innings. Brian Stokes still in the game. Gave us an opportunity, of course, between innings. Think about some more cliches. Sometime, Rich, you got to just tip your cap to the other team.
Do we use? I mean, are we guilty of that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, do we really overuse those? I mean,
I don't think we overuse them, but I'm sure we're guilty of using them.
That sounds like almost like an Email Tuesday topic.
Your favorite or worst?
The ones
cliche.
that, if there's a cliche that we use that we're not aware of that you dislike.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. We'll stop.
We'll work on it over the winter.
Matt Lindstrom getting ready in the bullpen. Ross Glode tonight. Fernandez has a strong arm. And he throws out Glode, our Mercedes E-Class attention, assist of the game. This was that play at second. And the importance of that, Phil Cuzzy says, no mas, no run.
Nada.
David Wright did not get to the plate in time. You want to be here tomorrow, these schedule magnets are out for next year. And we have ours. So if you're here tomorrow, you can have yours. Hanley swings and fouls it at the plate. Hanley does not have a hit tonight. He's walked and scored 0 for 3. His average is ticked under that 350 mark. Fouls it at the plate.
Yeah, it's interesting. The middle to bottom part of the order has done most of the damage. Chris Coghlan with 2 hits. But Ross Glode is hitless. Hanley's hitless. And it looks like Wes Helms is going to pinch hit for Jorge Cantu. Wes is on deck.
Cantu is more than made up for it. He's got 3 hits. One-two coming. Breaking ball struck him out. So Hanley goes down. A couple outs. Here comes Wes Helms.
And I would imagine, hopefully everything's fine with Jorge Cantu. You just give him a little extra breather. He'll be out there tomorrow afternoon. Gives Wes an at bat. What is it? The Marlins pinch hitting duo of Wes Helms and Ross Glode, 3 away.
They've combined for 35 hits. The all-time record for pinch hits by 2 teammates is 38, and that was set like in the 20s, I want to say. Long time ago. That'd be a great mark to get for those 2.
along with a lot of other marks that we've talked about that we'll have listed for you next week, that the Marlins have accomplished things individually and team-wise that haven't been done in 50, 60 years.
A wall of superlatives, we promise.
That might be a good title.
Helms laces it. 15 games with 10 or more hits. Never been done, right? Major League history?
Never been done. Chris Coughlin had some rookie marks that he got to. It hadn't been done since Wally Moon.
Come on, Wade!
Dan Uggla.
Come on, Wade!
Second baseman.
First second baseman to open his career with 25 or more homers in 4 seasons. And, of course, 3 consecutive 30-homer seasons. That's going up on the wall. And Matt Lindstrom will try to finish things off and give the Marlins their 83rd win. Wes Helms is going to stay in at third base. 83 wins for the Marlins. It will be, let's see, the 6th time in club history that the Marlins will get to 83 wins. Last year, 84 and 77 was the 3rd best record ever for the Marlins. So at 84 wins, and the Marlins would get to 83, obviously they'd have a great opportunity to set some history of themselves in their own record book in terms of best seasonal record. This is the 17th season of Marlins baseball. The World Series years, the best records: 97, 92, and 70. 2003, 91 and 71. And Freddie's team last year at 84 and 77. They played only 161 games last year. They had a game against Washington rained out in that last week of the season. Anderson Hernandez bangs out a base hit.
Well, we're going to see Corey Sullivan, left-handed pinch hitter.
What you'd like to see is a sharp inning for Matt Lindstrom, because the Marlins are going to need him in Atlanta.
Well, you get to Atlanta, and you get to, let's say, Monday night, and you get to a save situation. If Lindstrom isn't sharp here, what do? You probably see Leo Nunez. And hopefully he gets the ball down and pitches instead of just throws.
Fastball strike. That's one of the amazing things about the job that Freddie has done, is he has the ball club here entering the last week of the season, about to win their 83rd game, hanging in the wild card, and the ball club's closer spot has really been unsettled for much of the year. Lindstrom ineffective and then injured. Nunez.
When Nunez first took over,
Meyer was also closing.
Yeah, he was kind of learning because he wasn't ready to go back-to-back nights.
The strength of the Marlins bullpen, quite honestly, this year has been the middle relievers. Guys like Sanchez,
Kiko Calero, Badenhop,
Donnelly late, Meyer early. Here's the 1-2. Good breaking ball. Lindstrom with a slider gets Sullivan. Our Jaguar performer of the game, Cameron Maven. Coming off the bench, 3-run homer. Check out the new R Performance vehicles at your local Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com. Pagan takes inside.
I think the one thing fans don't realize it, you talk to guys who have closed and you talk to guys who have been setup men.
Fly ball left field. Coghlan's going to turn and play it off the wall.
And all of a sudden, 2 hits, second and third, and 1 out. But they will tell you it is a world of difference when you're trying to get those last 3 outs in a 1 or 2 run game.
Dan Meyer said that this year, almost exactly the way you said it. The first time that he went out there to save, I think his quote was along the lines of, I've done everything in this game. I've started, I've pitched long relief, I've pitched short relief, but closing is a different animal.
You know, and it was actually interesting and refreshing that he said that. Because a lot of times you guys will kind of set that aside, but there is a difference.
Castillo takes high. Well, what you don't want to have happen here is the Mets to somehow bring the tying run to the plate, especially with the bad taste of last night lingering. Castillo, little chopper, Lindstrom, and it hits Castillo, and it rolls down the right field line. 2-run score. It's 9-6. Freddie's going to ask if Castillo was running outside or inside the baseline. And Phil Cuzzy pretty quick to tell him that Castillo was in his proper spot.
Well, it's an error charged to Matt Lindstrom. Castillo does get an RBI and will get a look as he goes up the line. There he is. Inside, very close. You have to go inside a little bit to touch the bag. It's because the bag's on the inside. But he pretty much stayed in it, and a correct call. So especially an error and an RBI.
Especially with a left-handed first baseman in Glode who can extend himself out into fair territory. That's a throw and a play that should be made. Pinto and Donnelly in the bullpen. And here's Wright. And here's where you need to end it. here's where you need to get an out and not bring Beltran up as the tying run.
And here are those problems that you talked about. Good job by the Hopper, 2 innings. Sanchez did give up the home run, but then quickly got out of the 8th inning.
Sean West started this game 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, struck out 2. Badenhop 2 scoreless innings.
Seventh time this season, Rich, the Marlins have made 3 errors in a game.
David Wright is not happy with that last call, and he's letting Phil Cuzzy know about it in a professional manner.
He has had trouble getting around that fastball up in the belt area. See if Lindstrom tries to go there. Up there, almost got him to chase it.
No swing. Slider struck him out.
Got him thinking fastball up, so he cheated a little bit so he could get to the fastball and was fooled badly on the slider.
Marlins last night suffering a blown save. To compare, 22 this season, 24 last season, 4th in the National League. The average Major League team has blown 18.6 saves. And here comes Freddie. He's coming out. Beltran, who homered from this side of the plate. Let's see who he goes to get. Is it Pinto or is it Donnelly? It looks like Donnelly. Here's our Maroon. He called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call?
Of the Mets. And with a runner at second, Carlos Beltran coming up. Freddie Gonzalez going to go to the bullpen and bring in Brendan Donnelly.
Well, this is right now with Donnelly coming in a save situation because the tying runs in the on-deck circle. And if you look at the track record of Brendan Donnelly, it's been a good one, but he's not been a closer. But he had 3 saves in 2003, so his last save was September 28th of 03 when he was with the Angels.
Brendan Donnelly has had one of those careers where he's been in a lot of places and done a lot of things. Beltran blasted one in the 8th off of Brian Sanchez.
Yeah, 02 and 03 a couple of tremendous years for Brendan Donnelly with the Angels.
Well, those were great bullpens, too.
Not bad in 05 either.
They had Percival closing. K-Rod was the setup guy. Donnelly made the All-Star team as a middleman in 03. And you know what? He was the winning pitcher in the 2003 All-Star game. I think he said Hank Blaylock's home run got him the W. 1-2.
Well, he's a fun guy to talk to. He's a battler out there on the mound.
One-two coming. He got him. Ball game. Marlins win it. Donnelly, a gorgeous changeup, gets Beltran, and the Marlins bounce back from last night and win this ball game. Donnelly gets his first save in a long time. He'll put that baseball